This next step that we're going to talk about is probably the most significant aspect of drawing that we're going to learn this whole semester. What I want you all to realize is when you look at the old masters' drawings, they're not doing anything that I am not teaching you already. In fact, there's only a few more steps before we start developing drawings as an individual artist. What I want you to realize is as you look at old masters' drawings, you can see all the things that we've talked about, and I want you to just know that all you have to do is practice. Draw as much and as often as you can in your sketchbook, on every scrap sheet of paper, and simply apply the things that we've been talking about. The first term we want to understand from the Italians is the word chiaroscuro, which means light and dark. This was basically a way that the Italians figured out to use a darker background and to bring the light objects out from the dark. The next thing we want to understand is the idea of sfumato, which in Italian means both to tone down and also to basically evaporate like smoke. This is a way of softening edges on things as they get farther away, and as you create the dramatic lighting, you sharpen the objects that are in focus within the light. This is the second way to really create a dramatic sense of not only the lighting, but also a sense of space. Lucky for us, there's a very simple way to understand how to use chiaroscuro. In this example that I've got posted here, basically, we understand that there are 7 stages to the lighting and the understanding how to create those soft transitions. What I also want you to realize is that probably the most important one is the idea of the reflective light. If you look into this in the labeling here, you can see that the reflective light is what actually lifts and separates that object from the flatness of the picture plane, which is defined by the shadow. Understanding these stages and knowing them and always recognizing how to use them is going to be the ultimate way of making the most believable and profound drawings. If you take a close look at this particular drawing, you can see that probably the most intimidating thing that you could possibly draw is drapery. But when you understand how light and value work and mix that with the idea of, three-dimensional form, like we were doing in the previous drawing, you can see that all this is a very refined way of doing these very things together. What I'm going to tell you now is probably the most important thing that I came to realize in my whole drawing career. And that's basically not to be intimidated by the old masters. I spent years avoiding looking at them closely because I was so intimidated. But once I finally realized that all I had to do is study and understand what they were doing and find my own way to do that, that's when I began to advance as an artist, and that's when I overcame a lot of my limitations that I was having. I want all of you to gain from this class the confidence that you can draw as well as you want to. Then all it takes is a dedicated understanding and practice. And by understanding and doing these things, you can accomplish as good a drawing as you wish.